adorable.
Alright.
Sir. Can you put those under there? This is going to be awful.
I didn't like the stand in the vagina card.
Oh, okay.
No. I love that. Wait, no. Okay, so when you take too much acid before that's funny. Your acid before your nephew's baptism.
Okay. When you take too much acid before your nephew's baptism.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally applicable. But, like, I'm, like, so about this whole roommates eating spaghetti quiche. When you look at your boyfriend after watching The Notebook and realize he's not writing... Oh, then we have another winner.
When he's
What
what?
was that one?
He's not Ryan Gosling. I mean, like, seriously. Like, you watch The Notebook and your boyfriend's not Ryan Gosling and see that your phone is disabled for 196 hours.
I thought I was throwing that card away. Does that mean I get her phone now?
Yeah.
How do I keep
Okay, just use the one that you played. That
Yeah, me too. It's just us. We're just hanging out here in the woods. My mama's loving it.
Oh, you could kiss him on the cheek.
feel? Is it cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, does it feel nice? All right, come on. Okay. How's the floaties work? Hold on, it's okay. I got you. Here. It's okay, I got you.
Swimming.
I got you.
Good.
What do you think?
Good.
Yeah?
This is the story, the beautiful love story of Rose and JT. How did you meet each other?
Well, we actually were friends for over a year before we started dating, and Rose moved to St. Pete, was it almost 6 years ago? It's almost 7 years ago. And so she moved to one side of the bay, and I moved from New York to Brandon, which is just east of Tampa, and that was almost 5 years ago. And I slowly was moving closer and closer to the water, and we just had a lot of the same mutual friends. Rose, when she came to St. Pete, she didn't really have anyone here, and so she made an effort to just meet a ton of people. And so we would run into each other here and there for quite a while. And then, I don't know how it started, but we just started inviting each other to different things. Rose invited me to play volleyball on Mondays. I would invite her with groups of friends that we had out. And then, so we would hang out then, but I think we both kind of friend-zoned each other, and we never really thought about it. And we were playing volleyball one night, and Rose invited me to a white trash bash, which was a themed party that our friends were having where you dress up in like redneck clothing, I guess. And she said that she wasn't really sure who to invite, but she knew that if she invited me, there wouldn't be any pressure. It'd be easy, it'd be fun. She knew she wouldn't have to take care of me and babysit me. We were scheduled to go to the white trash bash. I think I mentioned to her that I'd been wanting to go kayaking, and she said, I have some kayaks. Do you want to go kayaking earlier in the day? I said, sure, let's do it. She was just excited to have someone go kayaking with her because she couldn't find anyone to go kayak. Early in the day, we went kayaking and had a lot of fun. We saw dolphins, and I was able to bring them fairly close to us. Like, I have some video of it, but that was pretty cool. And then by the time we finished kayaking, we went back. I didn't really have time in between going to the party and to go home and shower and get ready, so I found myself having to shower at her place, and so then it felt a little weird. I'm like, this is awkward. And because out when we were kayaking, I realized that we were on a date, and it didn't hit me until we were on the water. But I kind of looked around and I was like, this feels like a date. And so now I know we're on a date. She's still oblivious to it, but now I'm also showering at her house, and I go to use the shampoo, and it's called long-term relationship. And now I'm like, what? So I'm like, well, if this is gonna be a date, then I guess I better make it a date. So we got ready, and I asked her if she wanted to go to dinner before we went to the party, and she was like, yeah, sure. She's still oblivious to the fact that we were on a date. And we went to Red Mesa Cantina, which is now our favorite restaurant to go to in St. Pete, and then her sister came over, and we all got dressed up for the white trash bash, and had a good time. And that was the first time I met her sister. Got to spend some time with her, and I ended up. They actually fell asleep on the floor at the party, and because Rose doesn't do well with late nights, she needs to go to bed at some point. So I ended up waking them up, getting them to an Uber, and that was that. And then I think that night we both realized that we were more than friends. And at the party we were actually playing some drinking games, and Rose said that she realized it when we were about to play beer pong, and in her head she said, no one better pick James to be their beer pong partner. And then in her head she said, wow, I'm getting very territorial, I think I like this guy. And so that's kind of how it happened. And then when I was planning to propose to her, I wanted to kind of bring all that back around. And so I surprised her by taking her to Orlando. And the night before, we got dinner at a Mexican restaurant, which I thought was kind of mirroring our Red Mesa Cantina experience. And then in the morning, we went to Discovery Cove, and I had a cabana rented out for us that overlooked the dolphins swimming in Discovery Cove. And then we just had a full day to celebrate and have fun. And so she had no idea what was going on. And we get into, as soon as we were pulling into Discovery Cove, she saw Discovery Cove, she realized that's where we're going, she started crying because she loves dolphins. And then, but she just thought, we were gonna have a dolphin day. And then we got to our cabana, and what I wanted to do was to propose to her and then let her know what we were gonna do for the day, and then have the whole day to celebrate and spend time together. And so I told her, okay, let's come over here. I'd like to tell you what we're gonna do for the day. And she's like, great, sounds good. And she pulls over a chair. She's like, sit down, let's talk about it. Like, that doesn't really work for what I'm trying to do. So I had to distract her. And I said, wait, look over there, there's dolphins. And so she got up and ran over to where the dolphins were. And then I redirected and kind of went into my little speech and got on one knee and proposed to her. And she didn't realize it until midway through my speech, because I was holding her hands. She said in her head, she was thinking, oh, this is so sweet. He's holding my hands like this. I hope one day when he proposes to me, he holds my hands like this. And then as I kept talking in her head, she's like, oh my gosh, I think it's happening right now.
Oh.
And then we got to swim with the dolphins. We got to go snorkeling and see a bunch of fish. And we had champagne and mimosas. And we had a dedicated guide that served us lunch and took us around. So it was a lot of fun. Very cool.
That's what you call raising the bar to a wedding proposal.
Well, and it was funny because when we got to swim with the dolphins, part of the package was that the dolphin would bring a toy to Rose that said congratulations. And at first they said, that if you want, the dolphin can bring the ring and deliver the ring. Also, dolphins like shiny objects, and I wasn't prepared to put the ring in the water with a bunch of dolphins. But as we were doing it, they asked the group, because it was us and a few other people, did they ask us who wanted to volunteer?
Yeah.
I think they asked who wanted to volunteer to have the dolphin, bring them a toy. And everyone started jumping up and raising their hands, and then they chose Rose. And I was like, oh, that's cool that she's the one that got picked, because I totally forgot it was part of this package. And they brought her the toy, and she had no idea, and she's like, oh, this is so cool. And then they're like, look at it, look at the toy. And she realized it was part of it, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh yes, this was planned. So that was a very cool experience.
Very good. And Rose?
He nailed it.
When did you first see JT? Do you
I-
remember the day you first met?
Oh yeah, it was in December, like 4 years ago. We met through mutual friends, and yeah, built a really solid friendship.
And the proposal, you had absolutely no idea.
I thought we were going to get engaged a few months prior when we were in California, and I actually cried when it didn't happen in California. So then I stopped guessing when it might happen.
Her friends had kind of built up that, oh, you're going to California, maybe he's going to do it there. And then we were in California on our trip, and she asked, or I think she alluded to, like, you know, do you know maybe when it's going to happen? And I knew I had to shut it down really quickly because it was not going to happen on that trip. And I had been planning on when it was going to happen.
We're not pregnant. Just
Oh, shucks!
We have asked someone to officiate our wedding, so I thought we would share who that was, and it's Bruce.
Oh, Bruce! Do you have something that you're prepared to say to this lovely couple, you and Tanny? You're close to JT and Rose.
We are so happy for JT and Rose. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you. JT has been family. I mean, obviously, it's really. No, it's like when you lived in New York, that was kind of like a turning point because he was so close, and you came for Thanksgiving and Halloween, and you feel like one of our kids.
Aww.
So this is really special, and thank you so much for having Bruce officiate. I think that is going to make this a really super special day.
Yes, wonderful.
So we were there from the beginning, obviously not kayaking beginning, but when you first came into each other's lives, and it's been really special and really nice to see this love grow. And I feel like, you know, when you proposed to me last night, you know, they said, will you marry us? That's a proposal, right?
Yes.
You know?
They had a card and everything.
They did?
Yeah.
You should have brought it.
I'll share it one day. It was really special. I'm kind of on my own kind of high that
Don't cry.
I'm not going to cry.
Wow,
But
that's amazing.
That you would think so much of us, to include us so much in your wedding. It's really, really, really special, and I know you guys are going to be great together.
Yay! Love it. Thank you.
then hit the second one.
So
So after you
when he
serve,
hits it back,
step
you
back.
hit it. Okay.
Yeah, after you serve, step back a little bit. All right, low 5. All right, 5-1. 6-1.
Sorry. Sorry. When he says 50 Shades of Grey is his favorite book. When your doctor asks if you're sexually active. When you're sitting there after some nasty sex, wondering if you still have a place in heaven.
My hands are
Press the. Oh, it does that sometimes.
Okay. Do you put my hand? I try to grab it, right?
Oh, yeah.